Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Another Monday night football. We are here going to talk about everything that happened in crazy Liga MX. As you guys know, we just can't predict anything. It's really hard if you guys have been watching Liga MX for some time or all your life, to just expect the unthinkable. But we're here to talk everything that happened this weekend, second legs between Leon and Chivas, of course, and also it's hard not to talk about Cruz Azul versus Pumas as we already have our rival moving into La Final. So thank you guys for joining us via YouTube and Periscope. Please let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought about the game. We'll be sharing comments on the screen. Lots of open conversation. Just talk about football because we're coming to the wire. So let's just go ahead and get started with Guardianes 20. Gentlemen, Carlos, Louis, Javier, how are we feeling tonight, guys?
I mean, on cloud nine right at the moment. I mean, that was just the weekends don't get much better than that. I mean, there's only one thing that could make a weekend better than that, and if it doesn't happen this coming weekend, it's not happening.
I feel a lot better than Cruz Azul fans. I'll tell you that.
I feel confident because this is exactly what I saw Leon doing, reaching La Final. I thought it was going to be against Cruz Azul, but it doesn't change the satisfaction that I have of eliminating Chivas in semifinales. And it's going to be una final inédita. It's going to be final felina. But other than that, I feel the same. I'm confident that León va a ser campeón.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Let's just go ahead and get into the game. Carlos, are you ready to give us the club team news before this second leg?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So right before the game against Chivas, it was reported that Jairo Moreno was going to make a return for the second leg against Chivas, but that didn't happen. So today we heard reports that he's actually going to be coming back for the second leg against Pumas, which is good. I don't expect him to start, but I think he'll get around 45 minutes, maybe if we need him. But hopefully we don't need him. We don't need to bring him off the bench if the match isn't close. Secondly, we also heard reports of Gian Meneses receiving an extension from the team for another 2 years. This was reported by Paco Montes. Shout out to Paco Montes if you're watching. So that's also a big plus for the team. We're going to own Meneses' card for the next 2 years. And I don't know when his current contract is up. So, yeah, all I know is that the extension is for 2 years.
Awesome.
And Avion is coming back as well, right?
Reportedly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that Avion. I think Avion is more important than Jairo at this point. To be honest, I think after that shaky first half against Puebla, in Puebla, this back line really found their form and gave up only one goal in the next 5 halves that they played.
Yeah.
So I kind of at this point I'd be hesitant to throw Jairo in there. I feel like you kind of just have to at this point you kind of just have to go with what's been working. They were shaky at first, but they really found their form. They look great. I mean, the only goal that they gave up in those last 5 halves was a PK that wasn't their fault. It was Cota's. So I'd almost be hesitant to play Jairo at all, to be honest with you, in this final. I mean, unless we got things wrapped up early and you just want to give him some minutes so that he can say he played in a final that we won. But other than that, I'd be hesitant, honestly. I like the way the back line has kind of rounded into form. The CEO really finding himself in that left back position where he was so good for so long and then got out of the habit of playing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Jairo. Meneses, I just hope he makes his mark. It's not been the greatest of Ligas for him. Like he hasn't really. I feel like he hasn't done all that much But I mean, I think a lot of players are in that same boat. We have not shown our best game, and to kind of make it rather straightforwardly to the final after that first shaky leg against Puebla with so many guys like Meneses who haven't really shown up yet. I think that's pretty impressive. But I hope he does something in the final. I really do. Hope he shows his quality.
Yeah, I think the Avion coming back is way more. I'm not gonna compare them, but they're both good news. It's just that what Avion has been doing lately, it's because of what Luis said too. That back line looks really good. That's exactly what I was thinking in the last 2.5 games. Or yeah, 2 games against Chivas. They look good. So who knows what's going on in Nacho Ambriz's head, because I don't even know who. I think he's probably going to start the same lineup that he did against Chivas in La Vuelta, but I don't know who might come in, because he's been subbing in Jesus Godinez, and of course Nacho getting his minutes. Even Ivan Ochoa was subbed in. So I don't know what's going on with Gigliotti, Nikiler, if he has time to even put Jairo. Will he start Avion? Where he would, because I do think, but one of the things that we're going to talk about doble contención, I don't think he's going to change that unless maybe Avion could change his lineup. Just wishing that the universe grants him un chingo de sabiduría, and hopefully he gets everything straightened out for the juego de ida.
Yeah, I mean, and also Joel Campbell. You can't see. I don't think you can sit. You can sit Joel Campbell at this point. The guy finally found his form, and he's been.
Yeah, he did.
He was indispensable. He was crucial in that series against Chivas. I don't know how you can't sit him at this point. I think you got to keep going with what's working. It took him long enough. But I mean,
it's not broken, don't fix it.
But I mean, he certainly picked the right time to show his worth.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's interesting because I mean, even when you look at the possessions, obviously because Chivas needed to score, they ended up having more possession, and León recibió más disparos, but they also recibieron más faltas. I think the game was different, so it makes sense why León played the way they played, especially the second half. But I do think that why change something if it worked, right? We haven't been scored on with that back line. And I think Campbell is doing great things, or at least post-match when he was crying, you kind of just felt that this guy, he's feeling the critics and he wants to prove himself. He wants to show that he's actually worth that money that Leon paid for. So I do think, why not? Just don't change anything. Jefecito and Aquino, Montes, I like that. I like Mena and Meneses, obviously, and Campbell. Because it's just very difficult unless Avion coming back, maybe he might switch it up. But other than that, Jairo or Jesus Godinez or Nacho, who have been subbing in regularly, I don't know what's gonna happen with who's gonna come in, who's gonna come out. I just hope because si se ponen a pensar, Nacho Ambriz guardó los subs. I think he made his first substitution in the 87th minute, which was Nacho and Jesus Godinez coming in for, I think, Meneses and Campbell. And then I think, and then in the 90th plus 3 minutes, saca Chapo y meta a Ivan Ochoa. It's I think like Carlos said, depending on what how close the game is, we're gonna see who's probably gonna be subbed in, or what's the lineup gonna be, and I don't know, but I think just keep it the way it is. I like looked.
I think it's hard to kind of, I don't know, to think what Ambri's thinking for this game. I think we've had to adapt many games now. First, the Jairo absence, we kind of struggled, but then we, have been okay. And then obviously there's a difference with the Avion aspect. I mean, if we look at the first leg, I think it was, just the first half, you just saw Leon going forward nonstop, Chivas just waiting on the counterattack. Obviously, the rest is history regarding, Leon goal, Bota's mistake, and it was kind of just a frustrating game towards the end. Then you see the Avion's missing, so with the doble contención, I think Ambris played it smart. I think it's a very Leon looked very mature because they knew kind of what they needed to accomplish. Vucetich even started JJ and Alexis Vega, what he subbed in halftime of the first game. So he was going to come out, assuming guns blazing, but it didn't happen. I mean, honestly, I didn't see much. And to conclude what Javier was saying, towards the end, I mean, it was Chivas just not responsive to even make those substitutions towards the end. I mean, it's just game over at that point. So I'm not sure.
I mean, he put in his best options for that style of play. They just couldn't. They were incapable of doing it. I mean, it's just they can't. They might be the most likely options to play the kind of game that they needed to play, but that doesn't mean they're able to do it. I mean, I just don't think. I mean, we were the better team. The better team. The team that was able to do what better execute their game. That we have the players to be able to execute our game more than the opponent did. It really comes down to that. It's that simple. They put in the guys. Vucetich put in his guys that gave him the best chance to get what he wanted done, but it just still wasn't a very good chance. It was the best chance. It was still a bad chance.
Yeah. What he added was it got a little close, especially in the first game. The second game, he did all he could. Sacó JJ Macías, se la jugó con los que. But from the little thing that he had, he did his best, and that's why I thought this game was going to be close. No por el plantel, pero por Vucetich. But that being said, Ambris just showed that he is always thinking and he's always modificando, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I just hope that the universe, Dios, whatever you believe in, grants him mucha sabiduría, because I do believe that he's going to need it, and I think that's the key to beat Pumas, because let's face it, we're not Cruz Azul. Our defense is way better. We don't got those psychological problems, at least I think, and I hope we don't. But I do believe that Nacho Ambriz is definitely also working on that aspect, the mental aspect, and manejando partidos, como dicen. Leon looks more mature, and we don't have to be spectacular. We just got to win the games, and he's just getting the job done. And job's not done, but we're getting close.
Yeah, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Nacho Ambriz for calling that doble contención, because we hadn't played doble contención in a very long time. Mm-hmm. We're normally just one contención with Chapo, who's kind of a contención, not really, but he's more an offensive midfielder. Mm-hmm. But that was a very strategic plan by Nacho Ambriz, and we were all kind of surprised by it, because we didn't really think he was going to come out like that. We didn't think he was going to tinker with the starting 11 in the second leg.
Yeah.
And so when we saw that, we kind of had a couple of doubts, but once the game started going, it worked perfectly to perfection. We weren't letting them out of their zone. If you guys remember, we were high pressuring them throughout the game, and it was just Leon all game long. We never really saw anything from Chivas.
And it was kind of like, for instance, I explained that it was like they gave the ball to Chivas, and I mean not on purpose, obviously, but it was kind of like they didn't even know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like it was a change, because Leon always has possession of the ball, but it was like, hey, we're not the ones that are pressured. They're the ones that are pressured. So it was kind of like I felt Chivas no armaba ninguna, and that's why I was never kind of worried. The only thing that, like I said, I'm always worried more than anything, and I said it before La Liguilla started. Yo dije que nadie me asustaba, nadie, ni Cruz Azul, ni Chivas, ni Pumas, ni América, ni los Regios. I said that el arbitraje was the only thing that I might be scared of, o los errores del propio equipo de León, o sea, pecar de soberbia y León being its worst enemy. And up to now, we've seen that's been the only thing that's, like Louis said, el único gol que los han metido was because of Cota. And, that being said, I think, la salvada de Barrero and everything that's been going on, I think León has been the most effective in ejecutando lo que quiere el técnico. But I mean, again, this I keep hearing the people, the journalists, everybody, ESPN talk about that. Wouldn't León prefer un Cruz Azul that was? Imagine that they would have actually, pasar a la final. Would you prefer a Cruz Azul that you can make or at least you could play against them the way they did in la Vuelta, or un Pumas que viene un poco más motivado. And I think it's either way. Like I think this is
I
Louis.
think that, I mean, there's so many ways you can look
Yeah.
at that. You know, you could say that had Cruz Azul almost lost but held on, you know, getting an opponent that was like beaten down and frustrated and like, you know, just on their last legs maybe. Whereas we're getting one that made this incredible comeback and is going to be super motivated. But let me tell you something, guys. I still, on paper, Cruz Azul is a much better side than Pumas is. That is my opinion. There's nobody on Pumas. There's no one individual player on Pumas that scares me. There are a couple on Cruz Azul who do, like in terms of one-on-one matchups, and especially the pressure that Cruz Azul would have had to win this final in a year like 2020, making a final against the team that was the last team that they beat in a final 23 long years ago. There's just so much more narrative there. Whereas you have a Pumas team that, as Chivas was, in my opinion, will be coming to play with house money. I mean, you saw how they celebrated getting in. If you, this is interesting to me. You saw how León celebrated getting into the final. It was very understated because they know the job is not done.
Job is not done.
You saw how Pumas celebrated. You even saw how Chivas celebrated having beaten America in quarterfinals. Like Chivas acted as though that was enough. That after that they were playing with house money. Yeah, they were motivated, but they didn't care what happened after that. Really, like they beat their maximum rival in a Liga for the first time, and Pumas making that incredible comeback after everybody counted them that out. They celebrated like they'd won a title, not as though they had one more series to play. Because they knew everyone had counted them out. Nobody expected them to do that, and that was enough for them.
Louis, how can they not celebrate that? Like, gee, if we were in that situation, God forbid we were in that situation, but if we were in that situation, I would celebrate with like, oh my God, like I did not believe this. Just in that aspect, not aspect of like, you know, I understand what you're saying, but it's hard for them not to celebrate that because, like you said, everybody doubted them. They got lucky. Whoever's watching this, tell me. I feel like they got lucky versus Pachuca. They should have lost. They should have lost.
They should.
They got extremely lucky. They got lucky bounces, lucky rebounds. I mean,
even Chivas had played way better than Pumas. And I felt Chivas, because of Bucetich, was a harder challenge that maybe Pumas and Cruz Azul could have probably given León, in my opinion. That's why I wanted that León Chivas. It just felt like a perfect matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking mostly about like the psychological aspect of the opponent that we can face.
That's kind of what I thought, though. We have to kind of put that in consideration. That's the psychological aspect of Cruz Azul, knowing this Cruz Azuleada and this exists, and El Morbo that they're already in the final against León, like Louis said, 23 years ago. Today, 23 years ago, Cruz Azul fue campeón en el Estadio Nou Camp. So I think all of that was kind of in their back. So I do think psychologically that's what ended them, because how do you explain that? That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make. It's the first time in the history in La Liguilla that someone lost after being up 4-0, and it's of course it's going to happen in Cruz Azul because that's what a Cruz Azuleada is. And so Pumas just did what they had to do. I think jugaron como tenían que jugar para ganar.
I prefer. I know, like it might have been a little more exciting. Cruz Azul would have been a hungrier rival. They like. There's a lot more narrative there.
Yeah, the narrative was fantastic.
The narrative was different. Well, the narrative is different now. Now it's like, oh, we got. I mean, because you have to remember, Pumas did finish in second place. They were the number 2 team. So this is number 1 versus number 2. They kind of fell off and held on to that number 2 spot for dear life towards the end. You know, they didn't finish as well as they started. Cruz Azul, you know, and Cruz Azul was, even despite being the lower seed, was definitely favored in this tie. But I don't know. I like this matchup better than I would have liked the one against Cruz Azul in terms of our championship prospects.
Yeah,
I like the way we match up with Pumas. I remember the way we played them in regular season. That game wasn't even a contest, in my opinion. It was only a contest because Talavera, before he got sent off, made some amazing saves. It was the only reason it was a contest. It's not. We shouldn't. I don't want the team to take this attitude that I'm taking right now, because it sounds like I'm being too confident in our possibilities against this rival. I don't want them to do that. But just as an outside observer, I like our chances better with Pumas than I would have with Cruz Azul. I think Cruz Azul is a much better team. They got unlucky, as they always do, but they got unlucky. They did not get beat. I don't know how you can say you didn't get beaten 4-0 by a better team, but I don't think they got beaten 4-0 by a better team. I think they lost. They were their own worst enemy. The way that León is the only way that León will lose is if they are their own worst enemy, and especially now against Pumas. Against Cruz Azul, it would have really been a real different matchup.
I did feel against Cruz Azul, it would have been a closer game. And I even felt that, of course, León lost against Cruz Azul in el torneo regular. Against Pumas, I feel they're not as good as Cruz Azul, even though, again, yes, they beat Cruz Azul, and it's crazy like to even think about it. But I do think Pumas is not I think Chivas was a harder team en estrategia, por planteles, por técnicos. So I don't want to also act like I'm overconfident, but I do think it's not going to be as sufrido if it would have been against Cruz Azul because of all the morbo that was going on with La Final 97. Because in the back of the head of people like me, man, I wanted that final, but let's be honest, if León would have won, they're only going to be talking about otra vez la maldición del Cruz Azul. If Cruz Azul would have won, yeah, if it's Pumas, it's better. We can celebrate more because they're not going to be like, oh, but it's contra Cruz Azul. They always lose a final. This is why I like this one a little more. The other one, rating-wise, it would have been more. But this is better. I think this is better for los aficionados de León.
And on some level,
No, I don't like this. I don't like this in the aspect that we're saying it's better. Honestly, flip a coin. I take either or, but I just think literally it does not matter. Look at Monterrey. They came in last time, and look, they won. We really can't underestimate anybody, period. Like, I just think it doesn't matter if it's Grasu, if it's Pumas. Our mentality has to be the same. We have 2 finals. No one's better than the other. It doesn't depend on that anymore. It's just who wants it more, who's going to be mentally stabilized on the field to get the job done the first leg and the second leg. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, the whole Grasu thing, like, yes, mentally, it probably weighs on them. Like, it's hard for any player coming into a Grasu team with having just that weight on their shoulders, like, oh, you haven't won in X amount of years and this and this and that. Yes, totally understandable. But I think at this point, we understand, guys, that Liga, it's anybody's game. Anybody's game. Like, literally, look how Puebla came at us because they had that adrenaline at the end. Pumas will probably have that same thing. Doesn't mean they're going to stop from going whatever they want to conclude as going all out. I mean, look at Carlos Gonzalez, look at Dineno. I mean, it's just I don't think we should be taking it lightly. I think I'm like right now I'm just feeling we just have to go out in the first leg and get it done. Just play nice, get a good score. To me, it wouldn't have mattered. I think it's incredible what happened yesterday because it was the unthinkable to me. Like, I literally was counting out Pumas. But right now, I'm just trying to get to the first leg and trying to see how they're coming in mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing about what we said here suggests that we're taking them lightly. It has nothing to do with that. But all we can do, we're not the ones who need to be mentally stable. The players and the coaches do. We're just here to analyze. I need to be mentally stable
watching this. That they understand that it's serious. Like, I know, like, this is a second final. You know what I mean, for them.
We use collective pronouns to feel close to the team, but it doesn't have anything to do with us. All I'm saying is between the two, you can not care. You cannot care. You can think they're the same. I greatly prefer Pumas as an opponent. You cannot care. You can think they're the same. I don't. I greatly prefer Pumas as a rival.
I don't think they're the same. I don't think it's anybody's game. I really think so.
Yeah, but we are a much better team.
We have proven that we're a fabulous, beautiful team, and we've been repeating that. But it doesn't mean anything right now. I just need them to just get it done.
Okay,
we're better. We're better than Pumas more than we're better than Cruz Azul. So, and for a pregame analysis,
we can't say
analyzing things pregame. It's not unreasonable for me to say I prefer Pumas as a rival more than Cruz Azul, because Cruz Azul is a better team than Pumas is. Cruz Azul is a better team than Pumas is. Like, why is this so difficult for you guys to understand?
No, that's true. That's true. I agree with that.
But Estilos, I think Cruz Azul would have done more damage than Pumas. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let Carlos talk because he hasn't
Okay,
talked. Go.
so here's the thing. If you ask me, would you rather have Pumas, who you've already shown that you could dominate in the regular season, even though they're coming in with this energy, and we've already faced a team like Puebla who also came in with the same energy, and we know we already have experience playing against a team like that, so we know how to control the game. Or we can go up against Cruz Azul, who they know they can beat us. They come in with that mind state of knowing, hey, we already beat these guys once, we can beat them.
And we beat them
I'd rather take Pumas.
In ese estadio. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what, because in my head, look, los dos lados, el parte artístico, el romántico, wanted the 97 revancha, you know, en honor a Pratola, and everybody's not here anymore, no, el hijo de Reynoso. A fantastic 97 team. I heard a lot of people talk about that. Oh, la revancha del Cruz Azul. Revancha del Cruz Azul. They won that game. We were the ones that were affected by that game. And La Parte Romántica wanted León Cruz Azul. But it was the one that I was more scared of because it was the one, if we did beat them or if they won, either way, I thought it was too much of that pressure that I'd much rather have a Pumas, which it's kind of like there's nothing attached to it. The only things attached to it is what we saw in this regular season, which was a León que honestamente dominó, le hizo lo que quisieran. If, you know, obviously Talavera was a huge, which, by the way, last thing I heard, is he going to play? Because I have no idea about Talavera.
Second leg. That's what I heard.
Okay. Either
We
way,
have a couple of comments.
Situation if he plays.
Jose couldn't join us, but he is live and present on the comments. He says, on paper, Cruz Azul is a better side than Pumas, but putting aside that, we have to go to the final con humildad. Yes, we're the better on paper, but we have to put our money where our mouth we have to our money where your mouth is and let our actions, actitud, and our performance show why we're the best team. Albert Campa said, hello, Pumas va a sacar las uñas. Jose said, this is it, guys. It's showtime. Time for León to show what they made of. Osvaldo Montaño Chiva Romano, he said, just wanted to stop by and say congrats on reaching the final. The better team won the series. Good luck versus Pumas. Thank you, Osvaldo.
Hey, gracias.
And let's see. Luigi Garcia, hello. I give it all to what Gotti is saying. She's on point. I finally have someone on my side. 3 against 1.
Yeah.
Well, Jose too. Same here.
Okay, here's the thing. The thing. First of all,
chew me out, Louis. You want to do a hot take? You gonna chew me out?
No,
hot take.
No,
hot take.
Hot take. I have a hot take.
Nobody said we shouldn't.
Nobody said
we shouldn't.
Falta de humildad.
One at a time.
Hold on, please. Nobody said we shouldn't llegar con humildad. That was not what I was saying. Nobody ever said that.
No. I don't think.
Hey, I'm not done. I'm not done. Done. Let me finish. I'll tell you.
Oh no, he's freezing.
We just beat 2 teams in this Liga that were better than on paper. We just beat 2 teams that were better than on paper because in 180 minutes, the better team comes out on top more times than not. Crazy things happen in La Liguilla, but more times than not, the better team on paper comes out. So it is important. It is important to be the better team on paper. I'm not saying it's everything. I never said that. But it's not an unimportant detail. Puebla gave us a scare, but in 180 minutes, the better team came out on top. Chivas made us uncomfortable, but in 180 minutes, the better team undoubtedly came out on top. There's much more of a gap in the quality of the teams between León and Pumas than there is between León and Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul would have made me nervous as hell.
Yes.
And Pumas, I like this opponent. I think that there are more weaknesses. They have more weaknesses we can exploit and get the job done than Cruz Azul does. That's all I'm saying. And it's not an unimportant detail.
No es falta de humildad, right? It's not even like we're.
It's an analytical way of looking at it.
I said I prefer Pumas. It's not saying Pumas is an easier team than Cruz Azul. I prefer Pumas for what I just mentioned. La Parte Romántica did want that Cruz Azul final. I think the universe said, hold on, Earth 2020, you're not ready for that yet. How about when we can go back to los estadios and yeah, one day you're gonna get that final because that's just destined to happen. I feel it. Maybe in the 25th anniversary. But against Pumas, I just felt that on paper because we already played them. Because also I think even exactly what Carlos said that ya pasamos not that long ago. Es a pecar de soberbia against Puebla. They showed us in that first game de ida what could happen if, hey, si no tenemos los pies en la tierra. This is why I know Nacho Ambriz is definitely working on this aspect of the mental. I don't know, maybe it happened with us with LAFC. It happened to us with Morelia. It cannot happen again in esta final. And I believe that's why I think against Pumas, maybe, just maybe, that's a better narrative for us. Because if we do win, it's going to be, fíjate, instead of oh, they beat Cruz Azul en la final, otra vez la Cruz Azulió, we're going to have Pumas, León, los dos van por la octava. I'm already hearing the narrative on ESPN, like, ¿quién es más grande? En el sentido de que León tiene más títulos. Because now you're having that conversation that finally against Pumas and León, both have 7 títulos de Liga, but León has más Copas MX, Campeón de Campeones. And this is very important because I think this is bragging rights. Like, who's going to get to that octava? It's going to separate them from Tigres, who also has that 7 championship. And they're also trying to have that conversation about Quinto Grande. I think Pumas, for me, right now, it's better for the times, and just because the world wasn't ready for un Cruz Azul León 97 revancha. I just think that's
interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it, because like León and Cruz Azul have been the 2 best teams in 2020.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but because of Cruz Azul and everything that surrounds them and their history and what they are, people want to talk about them more than León. They want everything. They would have wanted everything to be about Cruz Azul and not León, which is unfair to León. I mean, this has been their turn. This has been their tournament. So I'm really glad. I'm glad, like you, Javier. I'm glad that narrative. That's another reason to be glad for this rival. I'm glad that narrative isn't even going to be able to come into play.
Exactly.
The whole Cruz Azul narrative.
Yeah. But we're not underestimating Pumas.
It has nothing to do with. Okay. It has nothing to do with underestimating. Mm-hmm. I mean, people need to learn how to listen and read. Like, if that's what they got out of what either of us just said.
Yeah, final inédita. It's final felina. I think it's going to be an attractive final. It's going to be mediática because Pumas es un equipo mediático. So that being said, it's just, I think this is the best scenario for León para que se corone. Because I'm going to be confident to the end. I mean, I know there's like a huge possibility that León could lose, but I do think León has what it takes para ganar por lo hecho contra Chivas, that I felt that Nacho Ambriz, he understands what he's doing in order to get the job done, and I think he's not going to drop the ball in la final. And Mini y Pumas, they have this great, energy, Cinderella story, whatever you want to call it. But let's be honest, Cruz Azul fue más hazaña de Cruz Azul que pierdas por 4-0 que lo de Pumas. I know lo de Pumas is incredible. It's amazing. That's why we love this sport. But I do think psychologically, those players del Cruz Azul, they're the ones that made that happen. That 4-0 Cruz Azuliada, that everybody just we kind of all manifested it when we were in halftime saying, oh my God, lo va a Cruz Azuliar Cruz Azul. And that's exactly what happened. And I just think that, yeah, lo que pasó con ellos fue increíble, pero tampoco es para que se asuste León. León no es Cruz Azul, ni defensivo, ni psicológicamente.
Yeah, and I think León is a much more mature team now than we were the past 2 years. And you can tell because of the way we came out to play against Chivas in the second leg and against Puebla in the second leg. Like, in each of those legs, you heard the media, fans, even our own fans were nervous as hell just to play against these teams, thinking, what are they going to do to us? Are they going to beat us? Are they going to eliminate us? And in both times, we felt pretty comfortable playing against them. We were very mature. We controlled the game. And I see it very, very difficult for Nacho Ambriz to let this team go back to their old ways, especially in a final. We're not Nacho Ambriz has control of his team, and he's not going to drop the ball in the final.
Yeah, you see them collectively. Sorry, Cardi, just a second. You see them collectively learning how to play Liga, which they hadn't been able to do before. They've been great regular season teams, and then Liga they lose the mojo, and they haven't done that. They haven't been the prettiest games. They haven't been high scoring games, and some of our key players really haven't even shown up yet. Chapo has had a mediocre Liga. Meneses has had a mediocre Liga, but they're getting the job done, like the way that teams these past few years, especially in these eliminatorias, like they're getting the job done, and that's extremely encouraging. And I don't expect to see anything different in the final.
Yeah, I think what's true is that, as Carlos has mentioned, Leon has had to adapt to these different situations, which, again, I think we've said it, we keep saying it. This season, it's more of a mature Leon side. So that is kind of what is out there. It's true. We've seen it game by game. Cota, obviously, huge mistake, but honestly, he's the best we could have. Goalkeeping wise, I'm fine. Defensive line, we've been able to adjust, and I mean, I'm confident. Doble contención worked out. Avion having back, I feel great. The whole Gigliotti and Campbell situation, I mean, clearly Campbell needs to start again. He clearly needs to start. Kudos to Gigliotti on, what he's done. And to me, I mean, he's just been very unlucky. He's a good distractor, though, which I think in some ways has helped us, but we still need that kind of other type of presence that we've been seeking. Obviously, I've said it, and I'm probably sound like a broken record, but Navarro has been key this whole effing season. And I said effing, don't go at me, because it's just amazing how he just sneaks in. You clearly see that play, the construction of the play clearly sneaks in. Like it's amazing. I mean, Yanni lo que hacía JJ Macias, how he did that role, but now it toca Navarro. And when have we ever seen a type of Navarro player? It's just amazing. So I mean, I feel confident in this team. I really do. Don't get it twisted. I really do. It's just, I guess just like flashbacks and just, things like that, just to put me on edge, especially because this is so important. And this is the only thing I want this week. It's my birthday today, and then my birthday wish on the candle was for Leon to be campeón, and that's what I'm expecting this weekend, because if not, I'm going to be so crushed. Jose said I should be back by the next episode, Cari. You better, Jose. You better.
Para cuando seamos campeones o después de la final de ida. Right? When we do that next podcast. I think a lot of people want your wish, Kari, especially aquí en León. So just walking las calles aquí en el centro. That's what I'm saying. Like it's and I'm hearing something about right here. I'm reading a comment about the underdog. It's better when the underdog wins. It's better when the team that plays the best durante el torneo regular y por más que nada 2 años que lo pueda cementar con un campeonato. I think that's what León fans are feeling. Leoneses all over the world. We just want to ser campeones, because I think it's going to be, la celebración is so many frustrations in the last 2 years of knowing we're the best team. If this was any other league in Europe, how they have la tabla, León would have been bicampeón. But this is a different tournament and different torneo, so we have to prove that we can win in torneos de ida y vuelta. And I think that's what we've been lacking, not knowing how to play 180 minutes. We're really good at 90, but sometimes we struggle in this in liguillas in the past. So that's what I'm saying. Like it'll be if Pumas wins, good for them. But if León wins, it's I'm telling you, the satisfaction will mean more because of what we've been going through in the last couple of years. And heck, if it would have been Cruz Azul and we would have won that game too, yeah, it would have been better because it would have felt like a revancha of the 1997 final. But that being said, es una afición que tiene mucho dolor y lo ha tenido por mucho tiempo. So I think más que nada merecen esa octava estrella. This is their 14th final. So, they've won 7, they've lost 7. Es un equipo grande, en mi opinión, el primer grande del fútbol mexicano, el primer campeonísimo, que le duele a quien le tenga que doler, and I think that's exactly what this final represents. It's bragging rights. Pumas
yeah,
León.
and I think it might be the last chance that we get to see some of a handful of players who were in the bicampeonato be crowned champions one last time before they leave. So players like Nacho Gonzalez, Chapito,
Last week. His last week como una fiera is this week.
So sad.
He's
Nacho for sure. I don't know about Chapito. I think he's got one left.
He's got one more left, right?
Yeah.
He's got like the Libertadores, Conca Champions in him. But Nacho, it's just his last week. He came here 10 years ago, I think, right? 10.
Uh-huh.
So historic guy, and like I said, if I was writing this book, obviously it's kind of hard to even have perspective when you're in the moment, but pretending we're 10 years in the future, looking back, if I was writing this book, it's a better ending story for León, si se coronan en este Guardianes 2020, for everything that's happened the last 10, 20 years. Because, of course, el ascenso del bicampeonato came very fast. But this is like cementing a dream that we all had. This is el momento muy más importante porque I think this is the last time we're ever going to have to deal with what we had to deal like 20 years ago con los descensos and los dueños that were, como dicen, no unos sinvergüenzas, y la afición tuvo que pagar mucho. And now we're just, I think in a new golden age. And this is exactly what we need for this to be a golden age. Campeonatos, títulos, ganar finales.
Let's go with Jose. He says, in my opinion, Leon has to take advantage of Talavera's absence in the first leg. That is a good point. Going in for the kill. Let's go ahead and do individual performances right before we move on to I think we kind of scrambled on what happened with Pumas Cruz Azul. So after individual performances, we're going to go just to a possible lineup for Leon and give our predictions. So for individual performances, let's go ahead and do Angel Mena, second leg. What do you guys think from a 1 to a 10? What did you think of Angel Mena in this second leg versus Chivas?
He gave us the assist for Campbell to score, so I'm going to give him a 9.
Yeah, although the best pass in that play was, as you said, Curry, was Navarro's. I think that was the real Hoya. But of course, it's only the last person who touches it before the goal scorer. So
I always like to count the one before because that kind of it's so underrated.
Yeah.
The assist officially goes to Mena, but as they would say, the hockey assist goes to Navarro. And but yeah, I mean Mena. He's another one. He hasn't had a great Liga. He really hasn't. So many of these guys. This is the most amazing thing to me. So many of these guys we dearly, desperately count on. They haven't been great in the Liga, and we've still been getting the results.
You know what's funny? Lo que más celebrado is la de Barreiro. Like to me, what Barreiro did, that's what I most have celebrated. What I most yelled like Barreiro.
Don Barreiro, I'm gonna have a poster next week up here. Like I'm just out. That was so I was just like, oh my god.
La de Barreiro es una de las alegrías de la Liga.
We should be like, we're not worthy. Carlos, Angel Mena.
9. He had a great game, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Chivas went really offensive, so they were leaving a lot of space in the back, which freed up Angel Mena, and also the tactics by Nacho Ambriz to put Chapito as false 9. He was in front of the contenciones, which freed him up as well.
Definitely.
9. Yep.
Okay, Angel Mena. Angel Mena in SOFA scored a 7.4, 30 accurate passes equaling to 93.8%. Out of 2 long balls, he got 1 accurate. Out of 2 dribble attempts, he had 0. Ground duels, 1 out of 12, he had 7. Moving on to the best player of the night, according to SofaScore, was Fernando Navarro. His score, he has 34 accurate passes equaling to 94.4%. Out of 3 ground duels, he won 2. Out of 3 aerial duels, he won 2, which you can't count him out. I'm telling you.
That's pretty impressive. That's an impressive stat right there.
5 out of 5 in regards to long balls, and in regards to 2 dribble attempts. He completed 1. 7.6 SOFA score. Best player of Leon versus Chivas. What do you guys give from a 1 to a 10?
It gets a 9.59 for me. High up nines. The Mena and Campbell to me were up there.
Okay.
I'll give him a 9. Yeah, that pass. I mean, just for that passe the ante passe de goal. It was just such a great. I mean, the guy's only one touch away from doing something remarkable every time, and he hasn't been losing his marks on defense either. So that's good for a guy a defender who wants to get forward so much. That's nice to see, because it's not always been the case with him.
No.
But yeah, I'll give him a 9. Those aerial, that's remarkable. He's almost always the shortest guy on the pitch.
Yeah.
So those aerial duels, that's a pretty incredible stat that he won 2 out of 3 aerial duels. Yeah.
Un resorte impresionante, Navarro. And sometimes, I mean, surprised in la final mete un gol de cabezazo, no?
Yeah.
He's an interesting, incredible player, and hopefully he's also a secret weapon that Ambriz is going to use. Like he probably is, him and Avion. I think that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know what the heck is going on in Nacho Ambriz's head. All I'm saying is I hope que Dios le dé tanta sabiduría para que if you believe in God, if you believe in Buddha or whatever sci-fi thing you believe in, just give him sabiduría, just so you can make the best decisions, because it's going to be interesting what's going to happen in La Ida against Pumas.
Carlos.
He also gets a 9 from me. I think that the goal that he assisted on era medio gol de Fernando Navarro and medio gol de Angel Mena and Campbell. Just like in the first game when Campbell had built up 80% of the goal and just gave it to Fernando Navarro. In this particular play in game 2, it was all Fernando Navarro.
Yes.
And then just the tap in by Campbell. So he gets a 9 from me.
Great scores. So we'll see what happens. The first leg game, Chapito Montes had the best score according to SofaScore, and consistently Campbell. So this game, the first game, hopefully he will start next game, which leads to the next conversation. Hearing the whole thing with Avion, how we played with versus Chivas in the first leg, and modificamos con Campbell and then doble contención. Now we meet our rival Pumas. For possible lineup, what are we thinking? ¿Va a repetir? ¿Le va a mover? Like, what do you guys see as our starting 11?
Man, it's so tough. Like as I said at the beginning, even if you have those guys available, that's great to have those guys available. But I don't know if you can really just insert them back in cold, just the way this lineup has been going.
Yeah.
And then that doble contención that worked so well that we didn't expect to see, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think even if Avion is available, he only missed 1 match due to COVID. He's probably not too far out of game shape, but I don't know if you can start him. And it's nothing against him. It's just the way the guys have played, the way the guys play without it. I mean, I just think you got to stick with it. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said. Que Dios le dé mucha sabiduría. I don't know what's going to happen, but
Javier.
What? Exactly what I look.
Give me hold on. Give me your 11. Like I totally agree, but like give it to me. Are you agreeing with Louis? ¿Le va a mover? ¿No le va a mover?
La misma que utilizó. I think why change something that's not broken? I mean, this is the thing though. But Avion is coming back, so I don't know if he's gonna probably change it because of that. Would
you start Avion? Or would you wait him out?
Que Dios le dé sabiduría. Like, that's the thing. Whatever Nacho Ambriz does, I'm telling you, I know he's está quebrando la cabeza like he's never ever has in his life. He has, I think, the most at risk here because he has worked so hard his whole career to be considered a legitimate coach. And he is, because he's done, estar en el vestidor del Atlético de Madrid with Javier Aguirre. I think he has all the credentials that he needs to finally be, coaching in Europe. But I think he needs that título. So whatever he does, I know he's watching cassettes or films, whatever he has on Pumas, and he's definitely going to figure it
And
out.
he's definitely watching. He's definitely watching the Lions Den podcast right now.
Of course. Hey, Nacho.
Hope so.
So you can speak to him as though he were right in front of you. Yeah.
Mira,
We're
Nacho,
the same
Nacho,
thing.
juega con la doble contención. Juega. Inténtalo por los primeros 45 minutos. If eventually, I don't think he understands English, but si eventualmente you feel like you have to, of course, change it up, then go ahead. Same thing with I'm hearing about Talavera. Talavera, I think if he does play in the second, en el partido de vuelta, it's kind of how I feel about playing Jairo. At this point, I have way more faith in Tecillo as left back, and just los que están ahorita con mejor ritmo. Maybe that's why he's not even playing Nikiler and Gigliotti, and why he's metiendo a Jesus Godínez. I don't know what's gonna happen. What is he gonna actually do? Pero juégale con doble contención. Let's just see. Let's try it out. Otherwise, quitas a un contención and I don't know, metes al Avión or Nick Killer. But like I said, he's not even playing Nick Killer or Gigliotti, and I think it's for a reason. So I think just stick.
I think the Godinez thing was just to give him a few minutes against the team that owns him.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think that was. I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any strategy. I don't think there was any strategy involved whatsoever with that.
That was just gangster. He was like, "Hey, what's up? What I'm gonna do?" I'm telling you, he's someone that I think is gonna make the right decision no matter what the heck I think. Like I said, que Dios le dé mucha sabiduría, pero que juegue con doble contención.
Ay, Javier. Luigi said same starting lineup the second leg. Carlos, what are your thoughts?
Same thing. Let's do what worked against the second leg for Chivas, and let's try that against Pumas. I mean, we didn't lack offensive firepower. We scored. We looked good offensively.
Okay.
And then you're going up against a Pumas team who's going to be motivated and probably continuing the same attack that they did against Cruz Azul, especially because they're at home. So I'd rather play it a little safe and have doble contención. Because I feel like when we don't play doble contención, everybody just kind of gangs up on Luis Montes and they don't let him do his thing. But when we play doble contención, that frees up Montes, frees up our wingers, and
hear me out.
More fluidity.
Hear me out.
I agree.
What if we were to take out Jefecito, slide in Navarro, and start Avión? No.
So
in theory, that works. Like in terms of the positions that these guys are capable of playing, but it's just too much tinkering. It's too much tinkering.
Too much tinkering. Don't mess with. Not in the final.
It was just a thought. I don't want to hear what you thought.
These things could happen dependiendo. Una roja, uno de los jugadores se lesiona, whatever. Like then you can. And I think Ambriz has all of that in his head. Like he has tried it all. I think he's los ha hecho que practiquen cualquier situación. Because we've seen how whenever León is even down, they know exactly how to play when they're one man down because they practice this. I believe in Ambriz and whatever he's gonna do. But yeah, I agree with Carlos and Louis. Don't change it too much. That's not
okay. Now let me say one thing. So obviously, Pedro Aquino has been consistent. We've been content with his performance. Okay, we threw in Jefecito as a contención duo with him. According to SofaScore, okay, I'm just like throwing stuff out there. I want to get a reaction. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Pedro Aquino and Ivan had the same score. I feel like I thought Pedro Aquino did more than Jefecito. Mm-hmm. What were your guys' reactions to Jefecito? Like overall performance in that game. Did you feel confident having Jefecito there?
Yeah, he did his job. He did his job. He was. I don't think he was ever caught out of position or where he made a decision that made me go, like why is he doing that? No, I think he did his job. And but I have to agree with you, Cuddy. Pedro Aquino was just outstanding. He was brilliant that game. I mean, you can see him playing his butt off, going after every ball.
Every single.
He got a yellow. He drew a yellow on one of the Chivas players. I can't remember who it was, but man, this guy. If he leaves at the end of the season, we're going to get a lot of money for him.
He played really well. He played really good.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Definitely, I think he got una regañada, like Cota, by Nacho, and Campbell looks inspired too. Whatever Pumas is on, Campbell is also on that inspiration. I mean, those tears were not fake. I think he really feels los críticos, no, and he wants to quiere demostrar. So I think it just depends what narrative you're actually listening to or hearing it from. But en los dos equipos hay esa motivación, no, that they're only giving it to Pumas. But I think what Leon has is un Nacho Ambriz that I think wants to be in the history books, and estoy a muerte con el técnico y con los jugadores, con el Capitán Montes, the Super Saiyan, Chapito. I think everybody has to be on their A game. In Aida, especially in Aida.
I hope Aquino stays beyond this season no matter what happens. I think he has a freaking lion tattooed on his back that he got while he was here. He didn't have that before. He got it while he was here.
He didn't have that before. That's something that causó en él.
And what's going to happen to his barbershop if he leaves? Like,
let's not even get into that, Louis. Let's not even get into that topic right now. You're gonna make me laugh, and I'll stop laughing.
I'm gonna go tomorrow. Put my hair at.
I agree. I think Pedro Aquino had a way better game than Jefecito. I didn't think Jefecito had a bad game. I just feel like I saw more of a Pedro Aquino, and we have known that they both kind of been juggling in and out. So it really just depends. So it's just a thought, like if you guys.
It would be interesting having Navarro de contención al lado de Aquino and then Avión, right? But I just like Navarro where he's at because he does miraculous things when he's as a right back. Like he appears magically, and I don't want to change him too much. Jefecito, I agree with you. Jefecito is probably out of the 11 players el que menos veo con esa confianza, or at least I have that faith in him. So I do see why he's definitely the first person, if we're going to go attacking mode, who I would substitute for either Gigliotti or Nick Keeler. It just depends how the game is going, if we really are going to need them. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I was already going to finish. Just yeah, sorry. Hey man, good job, laptop. It's like one of the first episodes where it hasn't completely shut off over an hour. Anyway, yeah, I do think it's just gonna depend. I think Nacho va a hablar muy bien con los jugadores, and he's gonna see quién está el mejor ritmo. I don't think he's gonna care if you're Gigliotti or if you're, I don't know, like Jairo. Like if tienes buen ritmo, vas a jugar. And that's how it should be. So, Jesús Godínez tiene mejor ritmo que Gigliotti. Jesús Godínez.
Jose said Javier pranks the football gods, and he also said so I think Jose also thinks this lineup will be on repeat versus the first leg. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, I think Nacho has just been able to adjust, so I'm not sure what he's thinking, but we'll see this first leg. In regards to that, whoever's listening, give us your predictions because we're gonna move into prediction time of this first leg. So let's see. Give us your predictions while we cue the clip for prediction time.
Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time. Prediction time.
Prediction time. Louis, what is your prediction?
Let's see.
Are we doing the whole series or just the first leg?
Let's do first leg.
Okay. I see this as a 2-0 for Leon. 2-0.
2-0 Leon, first leg. Javier.
I think it's also, I was gonna say 2-0, but it's gonna be because I was thinking 3-1 or 2-0, but I'm gonna go 3-1 just because yo quiero ver goles, yo quiero ver golazos, and they're probably gonna get one in because penalty. VAR is gonna give them, Cachu Cachu Barbar, that's Pumas.
I
We'll
can't believe
probably
you
get a
said
penal
that.
in there. Yeah, Cachu Cachu Barbar. That they're gonna probably get a penal in there because of that, and we're gonna score all three legitimately. Golazos, jugada colectiva, un golazo del Chapito. Campbell's gonna be on fire. That's what I'm hoping. If I had to go to Vegas and bet, it'd probably be more of a 1-0 León. But I think it's gonna be un partidazo, 3-1.
3-1, Javier saying there's going to be 4 goals total in that first leg. Louis saying a 2-0. Jose, if you're listening still, what's your prediction? Carlos, what's your prediction for first leg?
I'm going to have to agree with Louis here. I'm going to go with a 2-0. I just see us being a really mature team now. I see us solid defensively. I think our midfield with Pedro Aquino and Ivan Rodriguez is very solid. And Campbell's on fire. I mean, what can you say about Campbell? Wingers, I think Takeshi's going to have a breakout game, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm going with a 2-0. We're going to get those goles de visitante.
Well, there's no away goals in the final.
Oh, you're right.
Unless America playing, because León and León faced each other in 1984, 1985. It was in semifinals. Terminó ganando Pumas, and Pumas ended up playing America, and Pumas had won. But they were like, "Hey, away goals count. This and that. We're gotta go to tercer part."
Yeah, I mean, way back in the day, they did it that way. But this time, it's just straight up aggregate. Straight up aggregate, no away goals. If it's tied on aggregate at the end, then they'll play extra time and go to PKs. Hopefully, we don't have to get to that point.
No.
But
So Carlos 2-0, Louis 2-0, Javier 3-1. I'm gonna go and be the odd one. I'm gonna do 3-0. First leg, why not?
Right. Wow.
Oh, did Javier?
Right.
3-0.
Being overcome.
No, I'm not criticizing. Okay, it was just comments. We're all commenting. This is the beautiful aspect of conversation, of going back and forth. If not, can you imagine how dull it would be? We all had on the same page all the time.
I hope to God that you're right though. Like 3-0, that's what I want. Even though they're probably gonna be saying that they can come back del 3-0, lo que quiera. I hope.
You know what I'm gonna do, Javier? I'm gonna get all the clips where you're saying something like that in all the podcasts, and I'm gonna send it to you.
What are you talking about? That's like the first time I say that. What are you talking about? Come on, like that. It's like you're acting like that with predictions every time. Which, by the way, can I go 2-0 too?
See, you're always pushing too.
No, I was gonna do that first, but Louis said it, and I want to be original, so I'm like, all right, 3-1. I have to make up what I said. I didn't even believe in what I just said. 2-0. I think that's more like what I think.
Okay. Everybody says 2-0. I say 3-0. Luigi Garcia, he says first leg 2-1 León, also a viable option. Jose, in regards to Aquino, said Aquino was a beast. He was everywhere on Saturday. Yes, he was, and he only got fouled once, I think. And he didn't foul anybody. Jose also says 2-1, agrees with Luigi. So, okay. I think they're saying that Pumas will get one in. So, anything can happen. We will see. Hoping it all goes in our favor. This is the first leg of the final, guys. We're finally here. Like, it's just insane to think about it because I feel like we've been here before, but I think it just feels different. I don't know about you guys.
It does.
It feels a little bit surreal in more ways than one for me, just because I'm so used to seeing it play out live in person along the way, and I haven't seen any of it live in person along the way. And I'm not going to be able to. It looks like they kind of just killed our last hopes of playing. They made an announcement that the league made an announcement that the entire final will be played behind closed doors. So I am going to try to be in León for the partido de vuelta. Like I'll be in the city, so that if we win, Javier, I'll find you. We can march along.
I was going to say,
we can go dance by the Arco de la Calzada, and it won't be the same, but it'll at least hopefully have that sort of similar feeling of being around other people, socially distanced with masks, of course, but being around other people who are part of our club, you know. So yeah, Sunday definitely going to try to do that. But it's a little sad not to be in the stadium for any of this process. I mean, I've been to so many stadiums, so many games, I can kind of imagine myself there, but it's still not quite the same. So that part of it is sad. But either way, you know, the eighth star on the crest will look the same whether people were there to see it or not.
Definitely. So I guess we will see. Luigi Garcia asks, is there going to be a podcast on Thursday after the game? We will let you know. We will let you know if hopefully, yes, I want to say yes, but I guess we'll see who is available. If not, then we'll definitely try and figure out how we can get our second leg predictions out there. Maybe just do a mini clip video of our predictions. But we'll see. I kind of want to, just because, you know, kind of gets it out there after the game.
Desahogas un poco.
Yeah, desahoga un poco, and then just like
talking
about.
It ends kind of late over here. I think it's going to be at 9, so game ends at 11. And I mean, I don't care if it's late or not. It's just I'm probably going to be like, and I'm not going to lie, I had a couple of beers and whatnot. So that's why last time I didn't want to jump in. I'm like, I am too faded right now to even podcast. I'm going to be honest. So that's why last time I said no. But this time todo con medida. De todas maneras, el festejo es el domingo.
So we will let you know, Luigi. Just keep posted and follow the Lions Den podcast at the Lions Den Pod on Twitter, and follow Club Leon EN for everything to keep you updated on what's going on in Leon news. You know, we're marching day by day, taking it day by day. This is going to be a crazy week. Yes, Louis.
Well, one more important thing I think we kind of forgot to mention is that as a finalist, having made the final, we have not only secured our spot for the 2021 CONCACAF Champions League, but now also the 2022 CONCACAF Champions League. And for as disappointing as we fared in the 2020 version, to be assured of at least participating in not just the next one, but the next 2 editions of that tournament, I think is pretty cool. And especially for a team that's looking for its first international title, so that it can really insert itself into that conversation of which is the Quinto Grande. You know, that's a big part of it, and you can't win them if you're not in them. So I think being in them for the next 2 editions, I think is pretty important and pretty cool. So no matter what happens in this final, we're in the CONCACAF for the next 2 editions.
I want that revanche.
Yeah.
I want that revanche. I hope the players do too. That'll also make sure that that they're looking forward to making sure that they're going to have a competitive team as far ahead as 2022. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Vamos por eso 2 Conca Champions. Vamos a ser bicampeones de la Conca Champions.
Let's get through this. Nah, too late for a hot take. Let's just get through this week. Let's just get through this week, Javier. Let's get through Thursday. It's Monday. Let's get through Thursday.
2024, when we have our new stadium and we have 2 estrellas in our crest. Yeah, we are going to be eventualmente Quinto Grande. So this is just, to me, like this whole liguilla, I just wanted it to be Chivas in Guadalajara. Regardless of the result, I just feel that León is going to be campeón, because I think they're destined. I think they're destined to regresar los primeros planos, and it's something that's so surreal, because 10 years ago we were in Segunda División. This is why this game means a lot to me. It's just kind of cementing these little kid dreams that I had when León was in Segunda División, that one day we're going to be in Primera and we're going to win la sexta, la séptima, la octava. Whenever I saw Toluca win championships, I'm like, we 10 championships. Whenever, I saw America get to 13 estrella, I'm like, and I'll say it to the day until the day I die, I feel like I'm going to say, León va a llegar primero a las 16 estrellas que el América. I think León va a hacer cosas grandes esta década. That's my opinion. Va a hacer cosas grandes esta década. You thought Tigres fue el equipo de la década? I think León is going to show you what an equipo de la década actually is, like winning Conca Champions, Ligas, and hopefully when they come back to Libertadores, be the first equipo mexicano and ganar una Copa Libertadores. These are my dreams, and winning La Octava is just one little pit stop to that ultimate dream, which is being undoubtedly the quinto grande. Why not be el cuarto too? Be Pumas en una final. It's bragging rights that mean a lot.
Let's go.
Let's go. For everybody that watched via YouTube and Periscope, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. You can't see the background, but episode is called Enhorabuena la final because it is a good time to be alive and it is a good time for Leon to be in the final and hopefully get the campeonato that they've been much needing. Quoting Carlos, they need that hardware. So we're here on the Monday Night Football. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Just keep in touch. Follow us on all social medias, on Twitter, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. All the other episodes will be there. We'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with La Fiera and obviously live tweeting on Thursday. We'll keep you guys posted if we do a post-match podcast. Let us know what your thoughts are. Give us good vibes, good energy because we're going to need it. So thank you guys so much and we'll see you in another episode of the Lions Den Podcast.